the tablet the election results from Germany. The center-right party ended up winning. So it'll be Friedrich Merz who will be the leaders if he's able to form a government. But this map on the right side of the screen to us was really, really interesting because the party that got a lot of attention because, the meetings with J.D. Vance and what have you, AFD, which is, right in here with 21%. Look at the map on the right. And this is the AFD region that was won. Now, if you know the map of Germany, what does it tell you right away? That the former East Germany went to the right, the far right, whereas the former West Germany did not. Michael, pick up on it, though, after our conversation on Friday, what it means to you, this election.
Yeah, I mean, I think labels can be misleading in the sense what's referred to as far right in Germany and much of the rest of Europe is really, it's a right-wing party that's anti-mass migration. But in terms of the war in Ukraine and the relationships with Russia, it's a dovish party. It has a position that has been most traditionally associated with the political left. And so I think that the labels are very confusing.
So you're talking about AFD now, right? For when you say, okay, go ahead.
The right side of the map. And so, and so on the one hand, that's Eastern Europe, that's Eastern Germany. It's more conservative. Of course, this is the former communist part of Germany. It's the part of Germany that really more wants peace with Russia than I think the Western part of Germany, which of course is more associated with Western Europe. But I do think that, look, I think, Americans are tired of being global police officer, not just for the last quarter century and the war on terror, but really last 80 years. I think Europe is emerging, talking about for the first time, controlling its own security. And that along with controlling its own borders around this mass migration issue, I think signifies a very significant, we're living through an end of one era and the beginning of a new one.
You have thoughts, Niall, on the shift to the right? We talked about it in our U.S. elections, but in Europe, Germany in particular, and what it means, and if this is really some sort of a turning point and what's going on in the world and kind of a new era, to Michael's point.
I think there's always a danger in trying to map the politics of the United States exactly onto the politics of other nations.
Yeah.
But I do think that in relation to the map that you showed, Connell, which was essentially the partitioned map when there was a West Germany and an East Germany, AFD's support there in the East bespeaks not only the issues that Michael was referring to in terms of foreign policy, but also the fact that the former East Germany has struggled badly economically. It is a more impoverished area, and therefore the AFD has had greater appeal there. Just briefly, Connell, again to pick up on a point of Michael's, the lines here are very, very scrambled because while the AFD is a more dovish party, the more centre-right party there, which has actually topped the poll, favours, in fact, stronger support for Ukraine. So we don't want to oversimplify.
Right, and AFD won't be part of the government, right, Michael? I mean, Michael, no matter what, they won't be a part of any coalition. So almost a moot point, or no?
Well, no, it's fascinating because it's a political conflict, obviously, but it does seem like where the trends are headed are pretty clear. There's a backlash against mass migration, and there's majority support across the West for a peaceful negotiation to the end in Ukraine. And obviously, how that gets guaranteed is a huge question. I'm skeptical of peacekeepers. Obviously, you see a return towards a recognition that at the end of the day, nuclear weapons are the only way that you can really guarantee a nation's security.
Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.